the pastor of the church that we used to work at, he called us and said, hey, I don't have anyone to take the youth group to the convention. Can you come and do it? And so I'm like, okay, I'll go take the kids to the convention. So I go to the convention, and it's like a 4-hour trip. We're in a big, church van driving, and I look behind at every kid, and every single kid is on a phone in the entire time, the entire trip. No one said a single word to each other. And just a couple of years before that, when we were youth pastors, we were singing songs and doing all kinds of crazy stuff, and we had to stop the kids from throwing things out the window. And then every kid, just a couple years later, is on their phone. And it's just our culture now is that when we're with people, you're not with them, you're with the people on your phone,
Well, that is one of our rules. I'm sorry to interrupt.
Yeah.
That is one of our rules. When we're out and about, your iPods, your phones, your whatever you're listening to doesn't come out. You're with people, which means that you're with people. If you have your phone because you're taking pictures, I totally get it. We're not responsible if your phone's lost or stolen. That's totally up to you if you guys are bringing it. But if we're with people, that's where you're at. And we'll share later about sharing pictures. If there's pictures on your phone that shouldn't be there, and then you have to quickly slide by before you show another picture, get it off your phone. It doesn't belong there. And we are I'm pretty strict on that kind of stuff. So if we're at a church, we arrive at a church, one of the things we'll talk about, we get there on time to sit and wait for it to happen. And so you will get there on time to sit and wait for it to happen, and you won't be on your phone looking at pictures or listening to music. You will be communicating and talking and sharing around people. Yeah?
With each other, too.
Yeah.
I have two things. How would it, your phone or whatever be stolen, and, can we, carry around, purses and stuff?
Yes, you can carry a purse. Yes, you can carry a backpack. When I go to a place and I see someone carrying a backpack, woo, tourist, right? That just gives the dead ringer that you are. You want to carry something because you want to have you want to have your water bottle at all times. You want to have something, but your phone. When I pack things up, I'll help you guys out when we're there. You pack your belongings or deep down at the bottom of your bag, so that if someone were to come and get into your bag, it's like walking the streets of New York. We're in a safe area, but crime happens, and that's really what it is. We're not going to a really bad area. We are going out into areas that have more crime and things like that, but we're not putting you guys in unsafe situations. I'm not taking you to Sudan, Africa, where we're going to be worried about white girls with blonde hair being taken. We're not. We're all okay. We're safe. I say that because I was a white girl with blonde hair when I went to Sudan, Africa. And so that's why I say that. But you're safe. Your money, we will never carry all your money with you. You carry a little bit of money with you. We'll go through all of that kind of stuff when we get there, and Daryl will do that your first night there. So did that help answer that?
Yeah.
Yeah. A small backpack, not like your school-size backpack, is is a purse backpack is a good situation to carry, because that's a lot of times what they carry. As I carry not this purse, but a purse that looks, it's a 31 version of this, because yes, they know what Michael Kors is, yes, they know what Coach is, they know what everything else is. They wish that they had it. I would never bring this purse there. Thank you for the present, thank you, Daryl. But I would never bring this purse there. Right. But I bring something a little bit bigger than this, to be honest with you, because I have kids, and I have a whole lot of snacks shoved in there to keep them quiet during services. And I have a whole bunch of stuff that I just keep on bringing out. So I will carry this, and it stays in my arm the entire time. When we're at a church service and you set your purse down and you set your backpack down or something else, you don't just leave and go out everywhere. It's safe where we're at. We're okay. If everybody were to leave the inside the church, somebody stays back just to make sure things are safe. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. We're going to talk about it too, from the perspective that
Yeah, I've traveled many places, and last year a buddy of mine and I went to Europe for 2 weeks, and I, for whatever reason, put all my money, it was $400 put it into my bag and forgot about it. And then we went from one location to another on a plane, and the $400 was not there when I went back. So then my friend, who's actually younger than me, he was like my father for the rest of the trip, and I had to ask him for money for everywhere we went. Like, hey, can you buy me lunch? I paid him back in the end. Yeah. So what will a day look like? And this is kind of just a very generic day, because every day there's going to be all kinds of different things. Honestly, a day will probably never look like this. but this is kind of what a day could look like. So 7 a.m. I told you I like to get up early with M&M's. I do like to get up early. I will most likely be the first one up. I typically am, but maybe you get up early than me, whatever. Breakfast is kind of on your own typically. We have a kitchen, cereal, you can make some eggs, toast, coffee, tea. That's going to be kind of our breakfast deal.
Eat like you never know when you're eating next.
Yes. I mean, we might eat lunch, we might not eat again until, we might not eat again until 6 o'clock at night or 10 o'clock at night. So make sure you eat breakfast, okay? One of the things is you probably want to bring some snacks with you when we go places, and we'll talk about lunch in a second. Personal devotions, one thing that we are really big on is personal devotions. And I asked Pastor Kwan if he could lead like a team devotion with you guys, but personal devotions will happen, and we try to carve out time each day so that can happen. Some days it's busy, and you need to do that on your own time when it be here, there, everywhere at the church waiting. You might want to just do some okay. But a couple years ago we followed a guy by the name of Dick Brogden. He's a missionary, and he does a lot of stuff in Africa and in the 1040 window. Anyway, so his big thing is he feels that we should, just like we tithe money, we should tithe our time to God as well. And so there's 24 hours in a day, so that's about 2.5 hours that is 10% that we should tithe to God. And so he is like a missionary over like hundreds of missionaries, and one of the things he does for all these missionaries, they have to spend 2.5 hours in devotions a day. Now, I'm not saying we're going to have 2.5 hours to carve out every day, but the point is we want you to spend a substantial amount of time in devotions. And
and I will say, when we had a team 2 years ago, we took a team of uprising seniors who were going off to college, and we made sure that they understood how to give God that 10%. Have you ever thought about that? Like, giving God 10%, like that's not really something that most people are doing for themselves. And so we helped those people who came with us and spent that summer with us, 4.5 weeks with us. Every day they found in between 2.5 to 3 hours a day. Not all at once. That could mean I'm in the shower and I'm going to give God 15 minutes of worship during the shower.
Don't take a 15-minute shower.
Don't take a 15-minute shower. But you're helping yourself to learn to prioritize life. I could sit down and watch Netflix in 45 minutes, or I could sit down and dive into the Word of God for 45 minutes before I head off to go do something else. That during our time that we're there at the house, if there's downtime, yes, there's a pool, but we also want to make sure you're taking care of who you are, and that is where that 10% is.
Yeah, and I didn't bring it today, but I'll bring something I'll send something to Tracy so she can give it to you, but it's basically like an outline for that time. Like maybe you're thinking to yourself, 2.5 hours, like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? Like pray, sit and pray for 2.5 hours? Well, there's a way we can do it where you spend a certain amount of time reading the Bible, you spend a certain time praying, worshiping, meditating on scripture. Like there's different ways to do it. And honestly, surprisingly, everyone that was with us for 4 weeks did it every single day. Devotion with us for so, and have some team prayer, and then kind of talk about what's going to be in that day and make sure we'll prepare for ministry. That could be practicing dramas, getting food together that we're going to take somewhere, preparing for lunch. And so lunch is typically going to be peanut butter and jelly. Okay, and so in the packing list, that's a little bit. One of the things we're going to ask is that everyone bring peanut butter and jelly. Okay, and is there anyone?
Can I bring
What?
Not peanut butter and jelly. We'll let you guys decide.
Yeah.
Peanut butter, we'll bring jelly. Yes.
Bread and jelly sandwiches, and so that's just kind of been like our thing.
If you buy peanut butter there, you're talking about $10 to $15 for a small container of peanut butter.
And I'm gonna give them Mama Tea bags.
Yeah.
They're gonna have Mama Tea bags.
Yeah. So then 10 to 3 could be a time of different ministries. We could be, the monkey farm would actually, I think we have to be there at 7:30. Okay, she always wants us there like 7:30 in the morning. We work until lunch when we go to the monkey farm. We'll probably go to the monkey farm on 2 different days that we're there. But different types of ministries we could do. That could be doing evangelism. It could be going and cleaning up somewhere, working with a certain ministry, doing a workshop, whatever. Working and doing something in a school, but all those different types of ministries will happen during that time. Then we'll come back. Hopefully, I put relax there, but that may not happen. It might not be a time to relax. There's days where we've been so busy that you don't even get to take it. On your first trip, there was days like you worked all day and you didn't even shower before having a service at night. Okay, and then doing, preparing, there is a pool at the place we'll be staying that will be available for people to swim, and there's a slide and stuff. I will say there's bugs sometimes in the pool. The guy only came once a month to clean, like put chlorine and stuff in it. It's clean, it's clean. There was a crab one time in the pool, and there was a dead snake in the back of the pool. And it stunk for a couple days, and we didn't know what it was until someone came and found it. Anyway, so there is that. There's a hammock. There's things that you can relax but one of the things is, we'll talk about it in a little bit too, is air conditioning. There is air conditioning in the house. Not all the rooms have it, so you may be in a room that doesn't have air conditioning at night. It does cool down at night. You will be okay. But we do turn air conditioning on only at night. Okay?
You're about to go to bed.
We're about to go to bed because electricity is extremely expensive down there, and air conditioners use a lot of it. Most people there, the local people, do not use air conditioning. They just open up their house and let the wind blow in. Okay, so it's a luxury for us to use air conditioning. So when I say you'll be hot all day, and then sometimes you go to sleep at night and you're still hot, even with air conditioning on. Okay, the air conditioning, because we have to pay the extra for the electricity. So they'll send us a bill after we leave and say it's been up to $500, and that's
$750.
yeah, and that's only with using it at night, the air conditioning. So the electricity is very expensive there, especially with the air conditioning. So then almost every single night there will be some sort of service to go to. It just, I don't know, here, services are like Wednesday, some churches don't even do that, and then Sunday, and then there's never any Sunday night services at most churches anymore. And there's like a Tuesday night service, a Wednesday night service, a Thursday night service, a Friday night service. Almost every single night of the week. If there's a night where there's not a service, we'll be doing some other type of ministry, or we may have a night where we have some people come and share with us. Uh-oh. Pastor Quan.
I'll be there momentarily.
Okay. Password. Tracy's my boo.
Yeah, right.
Okay. So that is a very generic of what a day might look like.
The best thing that we can say about what a day looks like is, it looks like you're being really flexible. Go with the flow. You can just go with the flow. Flexibility is the best thing that anyone can provide or do while we're there.
And that is a raccoon on his back. Who's that? Oh, that's the guy that came with us. His name is Zach.
The raccoon got injured in something, and so they brought the raccoon to the monkey farm, and then they rehabilitated the raccoon to put it back out into the wild.
Okay, so Shelly just mentioned being flexible. One of the things we're going to say, and we've said it already, is be flexible. Be ready to hurry up, do everything you need to do to get ready, and be on time, and then wait. And there are times, and not so much in Costa Rica, but trips I've been on, where you go to a location, they're like, oh, well, we did. We went to the location, they're like, well, this is actually not the location, it's somewhere else, and we were trying to look for it for like an hour, for where the big church service was going to be. And so, they moved the location, the last second, they moved the location. So, that sort of thing can happen. And so, the other thing I'll say is, Shelly and I are kind of like the facilitators of what's going to happen, but your team leader is going to be Pastor Quan. And so what we're going to try to do is kind of communicate with Pastor Quan about what's going to be happening, and then he's going to try to give that information to you. And I say that, I want that to kind of be clear so that there's not confusion about, oh, we're supposed to be ready at 10. Oh, no, Daryl said at 9. And, oh, Pastor Quan said 11. So there's not communications, or not communication breakdown. It will be us communicating with Pastor Quan, and he'll communicate with you. And then obviously, like in the morning when we have a debrief, it would be all of us together, and we'll say, we're gonna do this, this, and this. But look to Pastor Quan.
And I'm gonna break it down in a very much more straight to the point. It is not your guys' job to talk to any of the locals from there about what is happening, because what will happen is, you can say, oh, I'd really like to go to the beach, I was really hoping to be able to go out and go on a boat while we were here. And all those people heard was, I wanna bless them, and I'm gonna go try and get a boat so that we can go get a boat and get them on a boat. And then what's gonna happen is, because it has happened, is that they go out and get a boat rented, and they're using their money that they don't have to go rent a boat, to then come back to us and say, we rented a boat for you guys, and we really wanna take these 2 people out on the boat. That can't happen. Your job, if you have questions, is to go directly to Pastor Quan. Pastor Quan will bring the questions to us. If you come to us and say, hey, what are we gonna do tomorrow? What's my job tomorrow in the service? We're going to say to you, you need to go talk to Pastor Quan. It's not at all to be disrespectful or cut off anything between us, but it's a lines of communication that keeps things the way that they need to be. In the same way, Pastor Quan's not gonna go to Pastor Riveria and say, hey, what are the songs today for worship? Pastor Quan's going to come to us, and we're going to get the information from him. So it's a lines to take. If you don't do this, our relationships get hurt a lot. Because what you don't realize is their heart is really to help show their ministry to us. They want to make us happy. For instance, we're at a place one time, and the lady went around and asked everybody what their favorite fruit was. The next day, we show up to the church, and she had 10 different kinds of fruit, freshly cut, because she wanted to bless us. We had no idea that that's what she wanted to do, right? And that was a blessing. We didn't want to take away their blessing to us. But I say that in saying, if you were to say something to any of them there, oh, I really like your shirt. Oh, man, where did you get that shirt from? They, in their head, might be going out trying to get you the shirt. Because that has happened to me, where then I had to wear a super skinny tight shirt. Because they thought I was an extra small. And you have to wear it because they gave it to you. And so be very careful on the choice of words that you're going to use and that you're using them.
I'm going to say something to that too. Josiah, I think he was 7. I don't know, when he went to Africa the first time. And he told the lady that he really liked the chicken. So now the chicken, they walk around in front of the house.
Yeah.
So that we had the chicken at night for dinner. And it was these really tiny little small pieces, right? So this mother heard that, and she stayed up all night to pluck a chicken, cut it up, defeather it, clean it, and cook it. And when we were leaving, handed it to Josiah. This little bit of chicken left.
Yeah.
But that's what she's talking about. You can't take it for granted.
You have to be very careful. And while your heart isn't to hurt the ministry, I can say we had a team that came down, and we had a team that came down who had a lot more money than what we have, and they went out to the store and bought bags of Doritos, and they would eat bags of Doritos every day, and then their kids would go around at the place where they were staying, and the crumbs from the bottom of the bag of Doritos, and would shake the crumbs around onto the ground. The bag of Doritos costs $10 to $12. They can't afford a bag of Doritos. They don't eat Doritos. They eat the brand of Doritos, the no-name brand, right? And so the ministry that we had there, number one, the hotel didn't give us a discount anymore. We had to pay top dollar for everything, because if you can afford to buy Doritos every single day, you obviously don't need to have a discount for you coming here to the hotel for as many weeks as what we were there for. So while they didn't know that that happened, it cost us a lot of money for the repercussions of what happened. So be very careful and aware of what you're doing, because there are repercussions of it.
Yeah. Another thing too is don't give money. Okay.
Or anything.
That was another thing that team did. They came, and at the hotel they gave a bunch of money to the people that were cleaning the rooms. We had already worked something out that we were going to give money at the end, but they gave all this extra money. And so then when other teams came and didn't give the money, they were very offended and upset at us about that. So please don't give money, don't give things away. If there is something you want to bless someone with, please come talk to Pastor Quan, and we can maybe discuss what a possibility is for that. But don't just go up to someone and give them some. Also, don't promise people things. Don't say, oh, well, we'll be back here. We'll be back. We want to see you on Saturday. We'll be back here. We don't know if that can happen, so please don't do that. Because that's another thing. People are they're sensitive. They take it to heart when you say you're going to do something, and if you don't do it, it breaks their heart.
And don't say I'm coming back next year. Your heart may say you're coming back next year. You may really want to come back next year, but the moment you say I'm coming back next year, that to them is in stone. And if you don't do it, you broke your promise. So even though you may have had an incredible experience, and next year you want to come and spend 4 weeks with us, maybe hey, that'd be awesome. But don't say to them that you are coming back next year because you don't know what life hands for you. Right. You wanna go? Okay. Housework, we're about to leave in 3 minutes. That first job is to clean your bowl, clean your somewhere, clean your cup, clean up wherever you were, and then move on. You make toast, you put it on, and there's crumbs that may be left on the countertop. When we leave and come back, you can guarantee there will be piles of ants that are there. We spray down for specific reasons. So when you have a job, most of our meals in the evening time, it's all laid out. I have the schedule of what the meal is going to be. No, you don't have to change it. I'm sorry if you don't like rice, you're going to eat it every day. I'm sorry if you don't like black beans, you're probably going to eat that every day. So get to figure out what you're going to do. Because when the meal is served to you on the plate, you're going to eat everything that comes on that plate. Some of us have dietary restrictions, and if you do, you need to talk to Quan and Tracy, and they need to let me know whatever dietary restrictions you have. I am diabetic. They know I'm diabetic. My plate of food that will come to me will be different than your guys' plate of food.
And then she'll give me most of it.
My rice portion is smaller because I alter my diet by what my intake so that way I don't have to have insulin at all. So they are aware of that, and so there's alterations. Kayla, who's with us, has an EpiPen for cilantro, so they actually go out and have bought a specific pan that they cook in for Kayla. She's been with us every time we've gone, and so they take care of her, and they don't use that pan except for Kayla. So her meal may look different as well because she has an EpiPen for something. So communicate and talk to us. Meal prep at the house may look like you guys are going to prep the vegetables, you guys are going to prep the whatever, and then 2 other people are going to be cleaning up dishes at the end of the day. So that doesn't mean, hey, I don't have cleanup today, I'm going to make a disaster of a mess. You're in charge of your stuff to go take care of it, and then they're going to clean up the community area. Everyone will be responsible for doing their share. It's not an option. If I see you in the pool and you haven't done your chores for the day, I can guarantee you're not going to be in the pool later on. I'm going to get you from the pool, you're going to come in. We haven't really had those problems. Usually in the first day, it's just like, hey guys, just remember everybody has to do their chores. And then usually it's fine. It's posted on the wall. I'm ridiculous, I'm aware, but it's posted on the wall. But the reason why, have you ever lived in a house with this many people before? Right? It's a lot. When you only have 2 or 3 showers for this many people, you also get to have a schedule if you get to take the showers and when. So it's all done for the fact of life for us. Make sure your belongings are tidy and your bed is made. You get up, it's time to go, you make your bed. Why? We may have visitors at our house. If we have visitors at our house and they walk around the house and it looks like a disaster, that's a reflection of who you are. You make your bed when you get up, you tidy up your stuff, you do not want to leave your belongings drawn out everywhere. Why? Because there are bugs that will climb into things. So zip your stuff up in your suitcases, put it to the side, neat and tidy, because like I said, there's a lot of people, and if I have to go into a room, I'm not walking over 3 luggages just to get to the corner room to get something. Tidy it up, put it over to the corner so that way it's acceptable. Ask permission from Pastor Quan for times to swim. He's in charge of you guys for that. We'll let him know what our schedule is and what time we have to be out, and then Quan will be able to give you guys the permission for that. Look out for scorpions. If you see one, kill it with a shoe, or ask Daryl to come kill it for you. Don't ask Daryl to come kill it for you. Kill it with a shoe. Because if you go try and find somebody, by the time Daryl gets back, it's gone. So kill it with a shoe. You don't have an option.
So I will say the house that we're staying in, we've only ever seen 1 scorpion. Okay.
2.
2. Okay, in the kitchen.
Yeah, that
Okay,
time that
2.
I didn't kill.
All right. So I think it was the same one. Anyway, so they're not. Maybe you think of a scorpion like this big nasty thing. They're normally pretty small, but I've heard the smaller the worse the sting. They're not gonna kill you if they sting you, but they are gonna hurt. I've heard some people say it feels like a bee sting. Some people say it's the worst pain they've ever felt in their life. So whatever the case, you don't want to get stung with a scorpion. If we'll ask team leaders to bring Benadryl because that can help with the pain and if there's an allergic reaction. We did stay at a house though the first year, and it was on the mountain, and I killed probably 16 scorpions in the 5 weeks, so almost every other day. One thing we'll say is, even though we haven't seen too many at this house, you're going to want to check your shoes because they do like to stay in shoes. That would be a very miserable thing to put your shoe on and get stung with a scorpion. Secondly,
Wait, freeze.
Yep.
This is how you check your shoe. You're about to go get your shoes on. It doesn't matter if it's, okay, so Daryl's going to tap it hard because it can stick in there. You tap it hard to get it out. The inappropriate way is to say, I'm going to check my shoe to see if there's a scorpion in it. Shove your hand inside.
Oh.
Right? You tap your shoe out, you tap your shoe down, and then you tap it out, and that's how you're going to tap it. Before you put your shoes on, you will tap your shoes out. Even if it's a sandal, you're going to pick up your sandal and look on the other side because it can be inside your sandal. So before you put your shoes on, before you go.
So, I mean, the first year we went there, we were at a place that there was a lot of scorpions. That's where we saw, they were in the shower all the time. I'd kill them in the morning in the shower. There was, in my sock drawer, there was a scorpion. We walked into the room and the scorpion was on top of the door and it fell off and hit Shelly, but it didn't sting her, it just hit her on the shoulder and fell on the ground. And then the one thing that happened, I'll say, is do a bed check. And we do bed check even if we don't think there's going to be a scorpion. The first year we were there, Logan stayed, we had a bed, and then Logan, our son, was 3 at the time. He stayed in a little bed we made for him with some cushions on the ground. And so every night I would do a bed check, and I would check his bed. We were there for 35 days. On day 33 of 35 days, we came back, we were out late, he was asleep, he was all sweaty, I was all sweaty, and I was so miserable that day, I said, I don't want to check. And then I thought to myself, I just gotta check, I gotta check. I go ahead, look under the sheets, nothing's there, look under the pillows that were making his bed, nothing's there. I go to look under the pillow that he would have been putting his head on. I pick it up, and right underneath is a black scorpion.
Whoa.
And my heart sank out of my chest because I realized if I wouldn't have done the bed check that day, he probably would have gotten stung in the face. Okay? So I tell you, make sure you do a bed check before you go to bed. We've brought 100 people. We've been there for 84 days. No one has ever been stung. But if you talk to people who are local there, they all have stories of being stung at some point. So it could happen. Okay.
When you do your bed check, you don't do a bed check by tapping.
Yeah.
You don't
Look under everything.
You don't tap the top of it where your sheet is or a blanket is. You don't tap it. You literally take your sheet and bring it all the way down so you can see the edge of the bed right here because it can go right there. And then you're going to check all the way around. You're going to pick up your pillow. You're going to shake your pillow because you can climb inside your pillowcase. You're going to check your bed. And then you're going to remake your bed and then get in bed. So right before you go to bed. You're going to see all the beds are like probably 4 inches away from the wall. Why do you think?
Because the scorpions can
They sure can. And then they're going to climb onto your bed. So all of the beds are about 4 inches away from the wall. Don't push the bed to the wall. Keep the bed where it's at there for a reason. Okay?
Oh.
I'm not too worried about it though.
So scorpions can climb the walls,
They're like
Scorpions can climb
Spider-Man.
walls. Yeah.
and so they can climb into your bed, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that's why you're doing bed check.
So
You're not
like,
gonna
what
sleep.
happens at night? You get hit, there's a scorpion.
We've never had a scorpion get into someone's bed, so I wouldn't be too. We're not telling you this to scare you. We're telling this so you're cautious. You don't need to stay up for 7 days and not sleep. You know.
Okay. And let me, does anybody have any questions about scorpions?
Oh no, it was
Yeah.
you guys ever found snake?
Okay, so
A big one. It was dead in the back of the mango tree on the property. It's fine. It's a part of life. They live outside. We live outside. It's okay. It's a part of life. Do snakes exist? Yes, they exist here in the United
So,
States.
the
Don't worry.
snake thing in Guanacaste, which is the state of Costa Rica that we'll be in, there are 17 species of venomous snakes in Guanacaste. So you do have to look out for them. We have heard plenty of stories of people getting bit by snakes. that has never happened to a team member. I have seen maybe 4, and they were all at the monkey farm.
The biggest place that you have to look out for is at the monkey
Yeah.
farm. Because
And-
if you're digging a trench, we've seen tarantulas that were there. So you're gonna be out on 50 acres of land in the wherever. So
But
yes, there are things you just.
Vicky Connolly, the lady who's in charge of the monkey farm, she does say, there's not too much of a worry about snakes because there's so much movement on the farm and so many people and animals, they kind of stay away. Okay, but with that said, I have seen 3 different snakes there. One was it wasn't a boa, it was not poisonous and it doesn't bite, and they were all the people were playing with it. I don't like snakes, I hate them.
Okay, at 11 o'clock, we ask that you either go to sleep or stay quiet for those that do want to sleep. We don't know exactly the schedules. There have been days when we're waking up at 6 a.m. in the morning and we're not going to bed until 12, 1 o'clock at night because we don't get back to the house by then. And then the next morning you're waking up again at 6 or 7 or 6 o'clock in the morning. So one of the things that my mission trips, if it's time to sleep, go to sleep. Don't even try because it's same thing with food. If there's food, you fill your belly, you don't know when you're eating next. So when it's time for quiet time, it's time for quiet time. Yep.
Will there like rule from go like free time, like no period?
I think that Daryl had the schedule of what it could be. We don't know. There could be moments of free time. We don't know until we're there. That when we debrief at the end of the day, when he had the schedule, we will give an understanding of what the schedule the next day may look like, which we would have already talked to Quan about. He's not finding out anything. He's finding out before you guys find out. So we'll clear everything with Quan, and then if there's free time, you ask Quan for permission for things.
And would there like be internet to like video chat?
There will be internet at the house, and yes, you can. You will clear anytime you're on your phone with Quan for permission before you're on there.
It does not work that great. Like
Yeah.
we've been on FaceTime with people, and it's sometimes cuts out in the middle of it, or you can't get a hold of people because.
We will tell people, and write this on your paper, the Eldridges, Eldridges, the Eldridges to Costa Rica. We will go live on Facebook so that your families or parents can go on, and it's fun because then they'll ask questions to you guys, and then you'll be able to answer a question. We'll go live. If more than 2 people are on the internet at once, it's cut out. So everybody can't be FaceTiming at home, everybody can't be calling at home. If there's something that we have to do ministry-wise on the internet, nobody else is allowed on the internet because you're gonna cut us off, and then we're not gonna be able to do what we need to do. So there will be times where you guys can. iPhones can iMessage through the internet. We will have phones that are Costa Rican phones, and so that we can call people there. It's up to you, and it's up to Quan. He will make the choices about you guys for phone calls or anything else like that. Yep, is that fair?
Does I don't know if my service is like do you have to pay for like
International service.
There's international calling. You have to talk to your family and also Quan about any of that. If you have iPhones, you iMessage. There's a WhatsApp. We do WhatsApp a lot. I talk to a lot of people in a lot of different countries on WhatsApp. You can also FaceTime call, FaceTime video message. There's a lot of different options other than getting an international thing, because once you get on the internet, you can do WhatsApp and you can do other things. Yep. Any other questions so far? No. There is a washing machine, and we will use it after visiting the monkey farm and for towels. So there's a washing machine. When we leave the monkey farm, all of what you wore is going in the washing machine that day. So we're not going to worry about that. We all wear underwear. We all have undergarments. Everybody's going to be okay. Nobody's wearing them on their head running around the house. Okay. So we're going to wash your clothes after we go to the monkey farm. Air conditioning will only be used at night. Dara already talked about that. If I walk into the house and I notice that your air conditioning was not turned off when you first got up in the morning,
You owe us $100.
no, stop. I am going to be upset. As soon as you wake up, you turn it off. I'm going to tell you that you are going to get cold in the middle of the night because the air conditioning is on, and the way that they are is basically it's right here and your bed is right here. So many times, like 2 of our friends, Kayla and Bethany, they turn the air off. They don't even use it at night because they are freezing. We don't usually use the air until we come back from Costa Rica, because I don't want my body temperature here in the United States getting used to using air conditioning, because when I go there, I'm not going to be able to have it. Usually when we come back from Costa Rica back to the States, we're usually cold, and it's about 93 degrees. Normal temperature there, about 110, 113 with humidity.
It's funny going into the pool, like going swimming at a pool back when you're there because the pool is so freezing. Here
Yeah.
compared to there. 'Cause you're
Yeah, you jump in a
used to
pool
like
in
bath
Costa
water.
Rica, it's like warm bath water. You jump in a pool here, you're gonna be freezing cold after you come down. It's about 110, I don't wanna scare you, it's about 110, 113 with humidity. Yes, your hair is gonna go from here to here. And your boys, girls, doesn't matter, it does not do anything. So, it is hot. We will talk about attire and dress later on, so we don't have to worry about that, but it will be hot. Air conditioning, if you choose to keep it on all night long, as soon as you wake up, first person up, turns it off. Do you have a question?
I was gonna do that first.
Yeah, we'll talk about this. All right, do not put toilet paper in the toilet. There will be a trash can next to the toilet to use. Is it gross? Yes. You dookie, you don't flush your toilet paper because it goes in the trash can. You go poo poo, it's on your. You take the poo poo side and you put it down. Nobody's putting poo poo upside, right? Take your poo poo, you put it down. Everybody will have a turn. One of our chores is to empty out our trash cans in the bathroom every morning and before we go and leave for church in the nighttime. Everybody poops. Everybody pees.
And-
If you think to yourself, oh, it's just going to be me that's going to flush my toilet paper. Nobody else is going to flush the toilet paper. Somebody else may think that too. You are going to ruin the septic system, not only at our house, but probably the entire block of where we live, because that's how horrible it is.
Just so you guys understand, just to add on to what Shelley said, is that the plumbing systems in other countries are not like ours. And even when I go to Mexico for work in an industrial plant, I mean, it's plants like 1 million square feet, in the bathrooms, you do not put the toilet paper in the toilet. So it's not just a local thing. It's actually other countries, their plumbing systems are not equipped to handle toilet paper, and you will cause severe damage to
We
those
will have
systems.
to pay to fix things at the house. It's part of a deposit. You break the septic tanks there, that's coming out of our pockets because we're going to have to fix that. Do not flush toilet paper. When Iria came to visit, that was one of the first things I told her. You don't go ahead and flush toilet paper. She's like,
Please don't put your toilet paper in the trash can.
oh my God, it's like a luxury. Yeah, it is a luxury. When my kids come back from being out of the country, it's kind of embarrassing because we'll go to somebody's house and they'll be like, can I flush my toilet paper here? Just go to the bathroom. So, no matter where we're at, when we go to churches, if you can bring, if you have like a travel toilet paper, you may want to bring a travel toilet paper. Just because there's a bathroom doesn't mean there's toilet paper.
Right.
That's right.
There's a toilet seat on the toilet either.
Yeah, most likely doesn't start pressing and squat over it because
Try to do
in
it.
Palmyra, they have toilets, and that's a bonus because there are churches that don't have toilets. Palmyra does have a toilet, but it is absolutely disgusting, and don't talk about that. My kids will say enough about it. Thank goodness that nobody understands them. But the ones that do, they're okay. It's pretty gross. I don't know if it's been cleaned up since I've ever been there. It's pretty gross. You need to learn how to squat over top of it. And at the house, if you're going to sit in the toilet, you have to make sure you do a scorpion check by picking up the toilet seat and making sure there's nothing underneath it. And check the toilet paper. They can go into the hole of where the toilet paper is at. So
You're scaring them.
Daryl, you have to check because yes, people have been stung in the butt by a scorpion by sitting on the toilet. So you do have to check.
Not
So
anymore.
I do have that. Are there postings for things, reminders of where to
We will
check?
post. We will post them, and it is on a list of things for Daryl to do while he's there. So remember that our ministry is first to our kids, and my daughter does not want to miss kids camp. And so in our hearts, ministry and missions is big in our hearts, but if our kids hate ministry, we have failed as parents. And so I don't want my kids to miss out on things like that, and so she wants to go to camp. We paid a lot of extra money for me to have to fly out on Saturday in order for her to go to camp. But in the long run, I have a kid who's learning how to love ministry and not hate ministry. So Daryl is there on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. We don't get those till 8:30 at night. So hopefully there will be postings. If not, get those when you guys get there.
Okay.
Yeah. Alright, do not, okay, do a bed check, already talked about, never leave the house without bug spray or sunscreen on. There are young girls that are here on our trip, and I'm gonna be honest, there's a, what is it, Vika,
Vegan?
No, no, no. I know you're talking
there is
about.
a virus that the mosquitoes carry,
Oh, yeah.
that is
Zika.
down there, and it can affect girls, young girls, and it can affect if you are stung by a mosquito to, you won't be able to have kids.
Zika.
So you make sure when you wake up and before you leave the house, because our house is, all the doors are shut. You don't go to bed with the door open, all the doors are shut, we don't have to worry about anything getting in that way. Before you leave the house, you spray yourself with mosquitoes. Mosquitoes are worse in the morning and at nighttime, dusk and dawn. Those are the worst times. There is also another virus that the mosquitoes carry that you will have the worst diarrhea and vomiting of your life.
It's called dengue fever.
Dengue fever, and I've
yeah.
had somebody leave Costa Rica on a plane while having dengue fever, and it is not pleasant. So you spray. When I say you spray, I mean you get that stuff with DEET in it, and do not try and go organic on this. Get the good stuff and bring plenty of it. That's on the packing list for later. Because once you take a shower, you spray yourself down. There's no point, like everybody's gonna smell like it, you don't have to worry about it. And also use SPF, no matter if you think that you don't tan, you don't ever burn, you're right by the border, you're right by the equator, the sun is hotter, make sure you do both of them. We will have bug spray, you guys will be bringing bug spray. We're gonna tell you guys to bring bug spray with you whenever you leave, have one in your bag to respray on later on. As well as also, it'll be right by the door to leave, because you will spray before you leave. Daryl will show you how to spray yourself when you guys are there in Costa Rica, because if you spray, like, it gets all over the floor, and then the floor becomes super.
Some people have used the shower, and they just go in the shower and
That's what I
spray
do.
down, or go outside and spray down.
By the shower. Be ready and on time. If we said to be there at 7 o'clock, you're a little bit late, be there at 6:55.
So we put the bug spray on first or the sunscreen?
Either, one doesn't knock the other one out. Which one's available to use?
Well,
So
if
They
it's
do
like,
sell a bug spray sunscreen.
Some bug sprays is, you don't want it, you want SPF, you do not want the spray sunscreen. You want the one that you like squeeze out that's lotiony and that you rub on. You don't want the spray.
and so with the bug spray and sunscreen, let's say we're going to a church service at night, you don't wanna put sunscreen on, cause we're gonna be inside and it's night, so only during the daytime, so like it works itself out, there's, I think, not as often that you have to do both at the same time, but.
And I will say, one thing that we forgot to mention is that sometimes people on the daily schedule, sometimes people get a complaining heart while we're there. Why are we doing something? Why are we just sitting around? Why aren't we doing anything? Normally we cannot do ministry in the mornings because they work. And they work in the early morning because it's not as hot. They don't do siesta in Costa Rica, but they are off a little bit earlier, which is why there's church in most evenings. So in the morning time, that's why we have a lot of devotion time, that's your homework time, and we have relational things that we can do. And so don't think that just because we're not doing things, sometimes we can't do them because we're respecting. If we schedule something, I don't want to ask that they need to make money. And so if we schedule it, many of them will take off work, which means that they have not made money. When I say make money, if they make $900 a month, that's really good money there. And remember how much everything costs. It's not cheaper to live there. So we're very cautious of it.
Okay, so I think we have one more activity, and then this works. What's going on?
I think it's done.
No, there should be, I put that. Should say.
Oh, well, it's okay.
Okay, we do have another activity. It's like frozen or something. There it is.
Do we need done at 12?
I already talked to him.
We can go longer.
For just a few
Birthday
minutes. I already told him
challenge.
about the shower. He knows. Okay.
By the way, those turkeys have been eaten, so thankfully they're not alive anymore. Those are the most evil turkeys in the world. They were at the monkey farm, and they literally would try to attack my kids and me. I hate them. You have to like show them who's like has the authority or something, and they'll leave you alone. And I guess I didn't give off that vibe I had authority, and so they tried to get me. Ugh, I hate them. I don't even like looking at their picture.
Is
They're dead.
it okay if we don't do this because we are running late?
Oh, sure,
Like,
sure.
packing thing?
Okay, everyone get up and stand up for a second. and
Stretch out, jump up and down.
I mean, we have time.
It was so you didn't have to listen to it.
Hey.
You can do this on
I
your
just
own.
told them the reason why.
Everyone tries to get their birthdays, but you're not allowed to talk.